That's my Kentucky accent coming through live. Live. We are live.
Live.
So we'll let some people. I know I was doing so good for such a long time. I was I had got it almost completely out of my system, but it's been coming back in my older age. It's been sneaking back into my vocabulary. Oh, there we go. We got Angelica. Angelica always breaking the, got
Right.
Yeah.
always breaking the pattern.
And she's still not. Have you still not mastered that turning your screen?
No. No. One day I'll get it. One day.
Go on, try it now. Just try it. Try it.
Okay.
Try
All
it.
right.
Try it.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Weird. That's weird. Yeah, no. Your phone mustn't
How's
be
that?
on auto rotate. Your phone must.
Yeah, it's
yeah. You must be on. You must be. Angelica must be living in. Is it American, Africa, something on the side there, on the side of that ball.
I'm Australia.
cool. So already there's 3 hellos already. 4 hellos.
Yep. Good evening, everybody.
What time is it there?
Sorry?
What time is it there?
Sorry, was that to me, Angelica?
Yeah.
Yeah, just about nearly 5:10 here, 5 p.m.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So
is it early morning for you, Angelica?
It's 9 in the morning here.
Right.
And then Bobby, your lunchtime, right?
noon sharp. Well, there's 9 people in right now watching. That's cool. So hopefully today, we'll see. We'll take a vote. So there's this lady Brenda. There's this lady Brenda that wants to jump in, and I watched one of her. She only has one video on her YouTube channel, and she jumped in and, of course, was debating or arguing with some. She's obviously a glow birth proponent, and several people. I've only seen that one video. I don't know much about her, but several people messaged me and said, "Hey, don't let her on the show. She's a troll." But I don't mind trolls. I'm good with trolls. So let's see what she has to say. Shut her. If she gets belligerent, we just kick her out. Whatever. But
right.
I like to hear their lies, entertain their lies.
Apparently, I don't know if are you actually live on YouTube at the moment? Because
we're live. All these people are saying hi. Hey, see that? Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
It's not coming up. Waiting for coffee because we've got Brenda in there. She's saying like, "Oh dear, another 25 minutes." So
I don't know what she's talking. Go ahead.
We're pretty troll impervious, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Trolls are easily dunked on. Agreed. So what's new? Did you bring any topics with us for us, Stuart? We'll start with you.
Did I what? Sorry.
So you brought some topics for us, right? You brought some stuff to talk about.
Regarding this realm we live in, I've always got something to talk about.
I thought you said you brought a presentation you wanted to show.
No. I'm just ready. I'm ready for this this trolling.
Okay, all right.
Just so I can bang some.
Well, I don't know where Brenda is. Hopefully she'll just message and I'll share the link. And if there's anyone that wants to come on with us, I think my limit's 4. I'm not sure what we could test it, but I'm always happy to have people on. Like I love, if you want to join the show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, just message me. If we can't squeeze in, if my limit is 4, and it'd probably be best to keep it, I'll give you the first slot next weekend or whatever. We'll get you in. So let me know if you ever want to come in and talk. Sure.
Yeah.
I think you can do 4.5 since I'm sideways.
We should be able to squeeze as long as
I'll just squeeze.
You ought to get 3 in your spot. So, should be 6. So, I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been working on. I'm working on a new, I think is going to be my best video. I think it's going to be my best work so far. I'm either going to call it Mainstream Media Lies, or I'm going to call it 5 videos that shouldn't exist. But basically, I'm doing a re-edit of all the videos that where they faked. For example, they faked the Antarctic sun. They faked a vacuum chamber experiment BBC did with a spacesuit, and they faked a vacuum chamber experiment with a bowling ball and feathers. And what were the other ones? Hold on. They faked National Geographic did a hit piece where they faked curvature, and there was a Stephen Hawking did a series called Genius where he did a fake flat Earth hit piece, and they were all debunked. And ironically, they're hard to find now. If you go out and try to find them, once they've been debunked, they've almost been scrubbed off you can't find them. They were very difficult to find, those originals, but I did. And it was actually on people debunking them. This is the only way I could get it, because.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be really nice. So that's what I've got. But I've got.
Sorry, Bobby, but I was just about to say.
No, go ahead.
I was just doing an experiment of some of the videos on Dave Wise's app on the. I mean, they're there. They're on YouTube, and I put it in word for word in the search of YouTube of one of his videos, and wouldn't come up. Couldn't find it. So. Yeah,
I will say this. I don't know. I scheduled a live cast with YouTube. I set the time, and then I used Restream to connect. So I don't. Maybe they won't sync up, right? Like maybe it sees that I have another. I don't know. I'm new to pre-scheduling, so I'll figure that out.
If you've sent that link out, that previous link, it's a different link that we're actually live on. It's not synced to that one that you set the schedule on.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how I can schedule one, but still use Restream, right? Because Restream only just uses a key and like a passphrase. So I don't know. Hope she figures it out, but if not, say hi to everyone. I can only see as far down as like Brian and Creature. They live Sunglasses. Cool. If anyone has anything they want to talk about, feel free to bring it up. Last night, I'll share kind of what's been going on with me. And by the way, for anyone that is watching, Angelica is a Christian. I'm a Christian. Stuart's atheist or thereabouts, roughly an atheist.
No, I won't say I was
in a creator, right?
I won't say I was an atheist.
Oh yeah, so you do believe in a creator, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh yeah, so okay,
like I said, before, it's undeniable that the realm that we live on is intelligently created. Therefore, you cannot deny there is an intelligent creator.
So, what's the correct term?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, what's the correct term for someone who believes in a God, but just not like a God, the God of Christianity or whatever?
I think Stuart's on the White Elephant program. What holiday exchanges where you get a gift, you just don't know who gave it to you.
Right.
I think that's the one that Stuart's on. Like he knows that someone's giving him gifts, but there's just not a name tag.
Yeah. Like I say, I mean, I don't know. It's everybody's individual journey, isn't it, as to who that creator is, and it's just undeniable once you've realised what this realm is all about and the fact. I mean, the fact that everything is just intelligently created. I mean, you take the human eyeball. I mean, that's supposed to have the human eyeball is supposed to have created through the evolution of pond scum. So that is not an intelligent creation to me. So yeah, but as I say,
I'm trying to figure out how to notify. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to notify people. Live stream. I don't. Anyway, hopefully they figure it out. I'll have to do more digging how to do this better next time. Okay, spiritual. It's not that bad. Last night, Jaron, Campanella Jaronism, most people in the flat earth community know who he is. So I'd say everyone, right? He's old school, OG. But I watched his iconoclasm, right? He did an icono, and I never say anything. Like I was just a fly on a wall. But and for anyone watching, I'm not judging Jaronism. I'd love to kick it with him. I'd love to hang out with him. I think he's hilarious. If you don't have to be Angelica Stewart weigh in on this, but from my standpoint, if you're not a Christian, that's fine. I've got plenty of friends that aren't Christian. Like I don't go out and I don't push my religion on people. I'm happy to talk about it, but and I'm good with whatever you are, right? Like whatever you are, you know, if you're happy with that. But moving on with his the premise of the show is, so Jeranism is very much against any organized religion, right? He is absolutely against Christianity and Muslimism and the Jayism, all that stuff. But I listened to the show and it was interesting. He believes in a God and he believes in all the things that kind of, you know, like Jesus stands for. It's basically the same thing, you know, love your neighbor like you would love yourself. And all, you know, if you listen to it, it's like, well, you do believe in the same things as Jesus was, you know, saying, but he is very much against. So that's interesting. You know, I thought that would be a talking point. We could kind of talk about that. Any thoughts?
You know,
Anybody?
I'll share something real personal with you, and I'll keep it as generic as possible, because I'm sure everybody that does not live in or has come from an intact nuclear family has some sort of version of this, of one side of the coin or other. But I'll share something personal that I think we all have a crazy ex, or more than one. Like all my exes live in Texas or something, as the song goes. But oftentimes when blended family has a formation after the original nuclear family breakup, there's all kinds of different manipulation that happens in that new blended family. And something specific that has opened my eyes to it's similar to this topic of, you can see what's being given to you, but for instance, I would send my children gifts through the mail, whatever it is, for just because or for a specific reason, and I would contact them when the gift or the box should arrive, whether it be a letter or a package or what have you, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, how did you know we got that?" And I said, like, "Well, I sent it to you." Like, no, you didn't send it to me. And they would name the second person that attempted to take my spot. That person would rip my name off the package and put her name on, as really manipulative and shallow, of course. And I say that from a secular, carnal way to sort of commandeer knowledge and offerings, gifts, that type of thing. And this would happen over and over and over. So the person receiving the package, my children, would be utterly convinced that I had nothing to do with it, and they would just assume it came from this other source. And I say that often because, such as flat earth, right? You don't have to necessarily know the creator by name. I mean, obviously for salvation reasons, that's the only way. But for these other, for the other paths that you may be on of truth, you can experience a truth, you can receive the gift, you can enjoy it, you can have usage out of it, and you can operate underneath what that gift gives you without necessarily knowing the name of the person who gave it to you. Now, eventually you're going to want to know that, and that's going to be another eye-opening part. But I don't think that not knowing the specific name will keep you from that truth, but it'll keep you from the source of the truth.
Any thoughts on any of that, Stuart?
Oh,
From that. Well, hold on, wait a minute. I asked a question earlier. What is the term? What is the term for someone who believes in a God but not a specific God? Just, is that a theist? Like, what is the? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I have to look that up. If anyone knows,
I would say theist would cover it. I think typically theist. Yeah, I think that would be a generic enough term. I think
so. I think it would be theist. I never thought about it, but if anyone can correct us or knows the, you know, if you're sure of the correct term, let me know.
What am I? What am I?
Something to think about. Oh, you're just, is that accurate? Gnostic? Let me look that up. Hold on.
I thought Gnostic was like extra God. Maybe that's Gnostic with a D, right?
I think you're right. It's like Gnosticism is a collection of religious ideas and systems.
Yeah.
Which coalesce. Yeah. So I don't think it's Gnostic. I don't think that's exactly what I'm just saying someone who believes in a God.
Hmm.
Theist. I got it right.
Theist. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Hey, what are the odds? Once in a while, I get one. All
So
right.
what am I?
I'm
An atheist?
You're a theist. You are
theist.
a theist. Yes,
Right.
you're a theist.
Nice to know.
So,
Nice to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone has anything that they want to bring up or anything, kind of open forum. I kind of my big thing was I thought we'd touch on that. You know how different people felt about religion or theism. I know we had Thomas on before, and know where he stands. I think Thomas said something very good. You shouldn't preach scripture if you don't know it, and that's where I stand. Right? Yeah. Like I'm like a first grader when it comes to the Bible. Right? One of my reasons, there's a lot of reasons. Right? There's a lot of things that came true in the Bible. Like if you just start looking at, there's a really good movie called A Case for Christ, and he kind of lays it out too. You know how he came to it. But for me, I did a video called "Who Are They," and it is clear that the people that are opposing us are worshiping Lucifer, right? So how much more confirmation do you need if they're worshiping Lucifer and they are adamant and they're insulting Jesus look at Kanye, right? Book of Jesus, and they're all hanging themselves on crosses. If they're all mocking this guy, say this guy, I shouldn't even say that, it's bad. If they're all mocking Jesus and they're all worshiping Lucifer, and these are the ones that are all successful in this world. And it said in the Bible that, he's the world and he has the power to give people riches and whatnot. So for me, that's a pretty strong confirmation as well. So you could either go, there's a lot of routes you can kind of end up at the same place. But I thought that was really powerful. Just the fact that kind of made it obvious to me. Either that or the plot really thickens and it gets really twisted where that's a total redirection, right? Like they're just all acting, but not only are they pretending to worship Lucifer, but they're pretending to hide worshiping for Lucifer. That would be so, man, mind bending.
And I do believe there's factions within that pledge to the Freemasonry ladder that goes up too. Obviously, they don't all get along. And I believe often that adds an extra level of duping to people who are comfortable in the naive side, and they'll take sides. They'll take, oh, well, this celebrity this or this politician this, and because they see them battling, and they'll be able to associate with 80% of what this, I'll just say celebrity, it's not only in the realm of celebrities, it's athletes and musicians, everything else too. So they'll have, let's say, an 80% alignment with this person, and because this person is fighting dirty against this other person, they don't understand that they're all of the same ladder going up, the same pyramid, so to speak. But because there's that inter turmoil, then it garners support from the common folk who's not completely invested or isn't into the deception. So they think, oh, like Kanye, for instance, that's a kind of a divide down the middle. And, oh, this person supports him because of this, or he's against the matrix of this and this, but not realizing these are it's like sibling rivalry with the same evil dad. Like this whole family is still of the family, but they don't necessarily get along. And I think that draws a lot of people in to take sides, and they don't realize that they're not in the will anyway. They're not part of that evil family. And so I think that's the mockery of that, like you were saying, of the religions. There's just so many factions of that.
Mm-hmm. Man, I pulled down a video yesterday and now I can't find it. Man, I'm a little bummed about that. It was a super cool video. I was going to share it, and I don't know how I did that. I'm bummed. I'm going to have to go figure out what I did. Sorry, that just threw me off. I was getting ready to share a video and now I can't find it. And oh, wait, I think I may have found it. Let me see if this is it. So yeah, I did find it. You know, you've all seen the helmet hair, and everyone's seen the helmet hair in NASA, right? That the hair does not move at all; it's stiff as a board. I've been looking this years ago when I first started looking into flat Earth. I saw this commercial where there was like two mermaids at the beach, and they would turn their hair, and their hair was just like what you expect to see in space. And I never saw any CGI that good ever, and I always wanted to make a space hair video. And I wanted to use that, and I finally found it yesterday after, you know, years of every once in a while I would just do a look. And here, I'll share the video since I'm so happy I actually found this thing. So check it out. Let me know if you've seen this. If you're in the chat, let me know if you've seen this one. This is a good one. Check out this. Now, here's what NASA should be doing, but they messed up. They didn't have CGI when they first started faking hair, right? Right. That's how hair would move in space, right? So, and that's modern day. Well, more modern than when they first started faking space hair in the 70s and 80s. They didn't have that technology. So, of course.
Yeah. Well, it's just rigid these days, isn't it? It's just rigid. It's like
yeah. Right. But this is what we'd be seeing if they had that technology.
Or if they, something, because they don't even tip their head sideways for the helmet hair. And I feel like for the budget that we fork over to NASA, they could spring for something a little bit more fluid than Aquanet. You would think.
Right. Well, but see, they screwed themselves because you have to maintain continuity, right?
Right.
They have to maintain continuity with the videos from the 80s and the late 70s. There's nothing you can do. Now you have to maintain that continuity. They didn't have that CGI then. So from here on out, they have to have helmet hair. There's nothing you can do about it. Remember that there was this SNL skit where they had that little short dude from Game of Thrones, and he was singing Space Pants. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was a hilarious video. It was making rounds on YouTube, but it was the short guy it was the midget from Game of Thrones. But if I could somehow use that track, space hair and dub it over him, oh man, it would be a big hit.
Yep. That'd be a good one.
Space hair. So that's one I'm going to do. That's a video I've got lined up where I'm going to keep.
That'd be a good new intro for you, Bobby. Create an intro.
Yeah, maybe I might. When I come up with I think that's like minor YouTube fame when you hit that thing. Like when you get to a point where you have an intro. I don't have an intro yet. Maybe one day I'll have an intro. Someone messaged me and says, "Hey man, you should go on the Jaronism show. I think you'd really hit it off with Jaron." And I'm like, I didn't respond, but I'm like, hey man, in my head, I would love to. Who wouldn't? But I'm not gonna. I'm like 1,000 subs. I'm nobody. If he ever wants to reach out to me, he will. I don't want to be the little guy going, hey, look at me.
Well, you know why you can't yet? Because you don't have an intro song.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not real yet. Like I'm so.
Yeah.
But there's some cool channels I've been getting turned on to that, like, I'm starting to find. I thought I'd give a shout out to Mellow Dome. That's a pretty cool channel I got turned on to recently. He's a neat one.
And I mentioned to you on our last show, didn't I? Because you hadn't.
Oh, was it you? I can't remember who did, but yeah, it was. I did check out. I've watched several of his videos now. He's got some. He's got some.
Our last live stream, I only sort of like minutes before I came onto the last live stream we did. And I was on Mellowdome live, and I put the link in. Now I don't know whether anybody joined us from Mellowdome, but I put the link for our live because we were about to go live about 5 minutes after that, and then I mentioned it to you. But Mellowdome, sound channel, I love it.
Yeah, I think his name's Austin, or the guy, the main dude. But he's got several regulars he brings on too. But good stuff. I like that guy.
I'm looking at this mermaid hair, and I had my hair up in a bun for the last day and a half, but I just took it down, and my daughter goes, "Wow, Mom, your hair is real messed up." And that's how I am right now. And so
that's lovely, isn't it?
I feel like I resemble this commercial.
Well, tip yourself upside down, and you get the same hair effect.
There, it's pretty close.
Oh, Brenda's
pretty
here.
Close. Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. We've got let me first figure out how to stop sharing. Oh, it did stop sharing. Okay.
Yeah,
Let me send Brenda the link. And crap. Oh, here we go. Brenda, here's the link. Feel free to join in. This should get interesting. Hopefully we have a civil discussion.
Yep. Come
Figure
on,
out
Brenda.
what Brenda's angle is here.
Enlighten us, Brenda.
And where's Brenda from? Like what time
I don't
zone are
know.
we sampling from?
We're gonna find out. But everyone's mentioned Witsit. Yeah, Witsit plugged me in. That's super cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an admirer of his work. He is the Ben Shapiro of flat Earth, as I like to say.
I think what he actually specializes in is like the electro sort of electrodynamic side of this realm, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
So while Brenda's clicking in, I know it's so juvenile in presentation.
She's here. Go ahead.
What's up, Brenda? All right, no, I'll hold my thought because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, write it down. I forget everything. From now on, I'm like Jaron.
Yes.
I just write it down, like, because my head's out there. So we got Brenda. Welcome, Brenda. Can you hear us? Hello, hello. I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello. All right, Brenda, just say something when you get your mic straightened out. Apologies for the sending it to the wrong live stream. I'm still figuring this out.
Yeah, I put in a link in the other live stream, in the scheduled live stream. I put a link to this one. So
if Brenda comes on with helmet hair, I'm gonna die. She's like getting that done.
Brenda, just say something when you're here. We're going to go on talking. I do have something I want to get to Witsit. I have some kind of information I want to get to him. I tried to message him on his channel, like, because I wanted to join his Discord, but he never responded to me. I'm sure the guy has 1 million. I can barely keep up with mine. I've got 1,000. He's got like 16,000 subs. So I know he can't keep up with them. But if anyone can get a message, there's something I want to tell him. And it's about how they're cheating. When they're debating, they're cheating. Absolutely. And I can prove it.
Well, what do you mean? As far as like,
who are we talking about cheating? Who are we talking about?
So I watched a video between him and, or between Robert Sungenis and McToon, right? And I was watching, and Sungenis would bring up, like, he'd show just a screen cap of a bit of a book, right? Like no one could say what book that was. And within 30 seconds, that's bullcrap. That came out of book such and such on this date, released by, and it's like, dude, that was impossible. You had to invoke AI, or like what I think McToon and Fight the Flat Earth and all these guys, what I think they have is a second monitor on the right and or hidden ear mic, ear plugs, whatever you call. I don't use them. I forget the term for them, but headphones like that tuck in your ear. I think they have a whole team of their best brains, and they have someone that vets like what information he needs to see pop up on a screen, whether it's a formula. And if I were Witsit, I'd do the same thing because I know they're doing that. I think he's single-handedly taken on a team of their best. He doesn't realize that. I guarantee it.
Sorry, I won't be surprised if the likes of like Professor Dave does that.
Yeah,
as an earpod or something communicating to him because he knows shite.
It'd be easy to do. You just have a screen to the right. Everyone has 2 or 3 screens, whatever. Or you can be looking at your team's. So it looks like you're looking into and you can have the live stream on the right. No one's going to know the difference. It's you just position the camera, but I guarantee it they're doing that because you watch these guys and they just come back with the perfect equations that no one could remember, like no one in their right mind, right? And
there's sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, but yeah, I just someone should. He probably already assumes that, but he should be doing it because I think they're doing it.
Can I just say, just say quickly, sorry,
Yeah.
on the intermittency, we've got our record viewing at the moment on YouTube there. We've got 51 at the moment on YouTube, which is our record, considering we've only been going, yeah.
Brenda's on, but she hasn't said anything. I did not have her muted. I don't know why she has. Oh, we have Hal. Let's see if we can get in Hal. Hal wants to join the. He's silent. I've noticed that. He's
silent Hal.
Silent Hal.
So you can get at least 5 then. You can get more than 4.
Yeah, you can. Bring them like that Brady Bunch screen in the beginning of the episodes. So, the best way to infiltrate those debates then is to get a job as an intern as the one who brings up the information on the screen, and you just put in some ridiculous stuff, and then you'll know for sure. So you just need someone that's a little tech savvy, that's fresh out of some sort of college on his resume, and they could be the typer for those debates.
Yeah, Brenda's trying to get audio. I don't know what to tell you. I have your audio enabled. You're not muted. As soon as you can, we'll be here. You can just try to figure it out. If you need to drop and reconnect, maybe. I don't know what to suggest, but love to talk to you. Yeah, the Brenda, that's McToon. Where was I with that? But yeah, so again, I know I'm droning this out, but yeah, I'm confident they're cheating. I've watched enough of their videos, and I think that Whitsitt is being honest. I think he's just going off his brain, right? And I think the way they would do it is they would have like their head guy vet, like all the stuff coming in. And he would say, yeah, that goes that, because I saw times, there was a handful of times where I saw where usually, Whitsitt handles it fine. But there was a handful of times where I think I had a better argument, right? Like, I'd see him arguing about this guy saying he sent up satellites in space, and I would have went a different angle, right? It's sending these little micro satellites or whatever. And I just would have been like, I would have taken a different angle than he had. And it would have been like, how do you know what you're getting is real? Like, he just the angle he took at the time was a different angle I would have taken. But I think if he could have looked and seen like 5 really good angles coming in, he could have said, yeah, that's a better angle. I should take that angle. Because I think they've got that going on. But anyway, Zach, good times. Hey, Zach, what? Zach's in? No. Someone said good times for all. Hey, Zach. There's no way he's in here. The dude's a legend. So, is Zach in? Someone said that. I'm scrolling through. I don't see it. I'm a huge fan. If he's in, I just wanted to say hello and thank you. But so anyway, if Zachary Zabala is watching, man, I'm honored. Would love to have him on sometime.
Can you hear me at all?
I do. How are you, Brenda?
So now you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
We can. Why was I under the impression that Brenda was this female?
I'm transgender.
Oh, okay.
Right. Excellent.
Yes.
So Brenda, you offered to come on. You said you wanted to come on, and you wanted to clarify our misconceptions. Is that what it was?
I don't remember which video I even commented on at this point.
Okay. Well, we're happy to have you. We're happy to. What's your intention? Like, what do you want to talk about? Where do we start? How do we get on this road?
Why do you think that the Earth is flat?
There's lots of reasons, but namely, I would say the largest portion of it is what's it called? What kind of evidence is that when it's not? It's there's 2 types of evidence, right? And my brain just short circuited. One's
like empirical evidence.
No, the evidence when something leads to something, but it's not definitive, right? It's called. Anyway, I'll give you an example, Brenda. As an example, if the Earth were spherical, there'd be 1,000 or more videos of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And what there wouldn't be is 10 obviously faked videos of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. This is just one example, right?
Yeah,
that's one example.
I don't think that's true. I don't think there would necessarily be 1,000 videos, because people don't care. And the videos that I have seen, I've not seen them as, I don't think they're fake.
Okay. So the way I want to do this is I won't cut you off. No one here will. But when I'm talking, I'm not accusing you of cutting me off, but I'm saying is that's how I want to keep this flow. So I'm going to be mega respectful. You just be mega respectful back. I'll reply to that real quick and then I'll turn it over and then you can tell me when it's turned over. I can pull up 10. I've got them because I'm working on this video right now. And this is just one example. And if I'm talking about the 24-hour sun, I can pull up 10 videos that were done by respectable companies and or people that are doing documentaries for major production companies. And anyone in their right mind would say, once it's pointed out to them, would say that is unquestionably fake. And you say no one cares, but we've got thousands and thousands of people pouring onto the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula there under Argentina. People do care. They would take a video of that 24-hour sun because it would squash the debate between flat Earth and spherical Earth, and we wouldn't have all these nut jobs running around. So people do care, and there's no real videos out there.
Yeah, that's what I think people don't care about. People don't care to go out of their way to disprove flat earthers. They simply don't. It's not important to them. They have other things that they're worried about. They're not worried about flat Earth.
Then why are you here?
Oh, because I'm retired and I'm older and I have a lot of time and it's interesting and fun.
So you think that no one that goes to Antarctica would be similar to you? You think I would venture to say the majority of people that go to Antarctica are retired. I think
they're working scientists. What are you talking about?
Well, isn't it the globe Earth argument that thousands of people visit Antarctica and we can just go there? Why don't we just go? Flat earthers, people go all the time.
Go ahead and go there then.
Well, people have, and they can't film the 24-hour sun. Flat earthers go and they don't see it. It's not there.
Well, I don't know that that's true.
You don't know that it is. I mean, you don't know that it's not.
I do, because there is video of the 24-hour sun, both the north and the southern pole.
Yeah, not to crank up the heat on this simmering pot right off the get-go, but I do believe that in order for logical debate, discussion, banter to take place, I think we each have to understand where the baseline of information is coming from each person speaking. And so that would require me to boil this right down to its logical conclusion from the get-go, because if one person is speaking from a baseline that's on this side and then on this side, there's no way that these banterings are going to even meet up, because they're being done under different measurements. And I asked that because the blanket statement that you just insinuated, Brenda, was that a version of what I'm saying is the majority of people don't care, fill in the blank, of flat Earth, what have you.
Yeah, that's why NASA and SpaceX and the other companies do not bother to put a camera specifically on their rockets for flat earthers, because they don't. I
believe that is a presupposition that you would have absolute no insider knowledge to. It's an assumption made by your trust in that particular entity. And so what I'm saying is your baseline and the collective baseline of the other three of us on here, and I would possibly say many in the comments, is that your view that the majority of people don't care or are not invested in or are not bothered by, I'll just crank this right up to the boiling part right here, I believe probably runs in tandem with your same perspective as the transgenderism that you're saying, that most people don't care, and this evidence that you would take as personal is something that other people that would look at this unbiasedly and scientifically, such as videos of babies in a womb or what have you, or development. The baseline from where you're saying that
What are
people
you talking about?
care.
What do
Well,
babies
I'm telling you,
do with
I'm
it?
telling you, the baseline from what you're saying, the general populace care or doesn't care,
Yeah.
and that the information you're fed is sufficient for you to believe in a push, a propaganda push, is
I'm just saying-
different than what the majority of the other
No,
of us, we're saying we're looking at it as most people do care. This is an important thing, and there is video that supports the empirical evidence.
I'm saying that the people who launch rockets and the people who go to Antarctica to work do not care about proving things to flat earthers, because if you're putting a rocket in orbit, you already know for a fact that the Earth is a globe. And if you're going to Antarctica, it's exclusively for scientific research. You're a scientist, so you already know that the Earth is a globe, and you're just not. It's not that they're hostile. It's not that they're hostile. They're just not interested. They have other things to do.
Can I just interject here? You just mentioned there about the scientists, and yes, we've never squandered about the fact that there's people in Antarctica doing experiments as bases. But your statement there that they know they're on a globe because they're in Antarctica, where's the evidence for that?
Because they're scientists. They've had an education.
The scientists,
So they know. Well, that's primarily, they're tourists and support people that work at Antarctica, but primarily people go there for scientific research. That's exclusively what it's for.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. And I don't think there's any flat earther out there that will deny that there's scientists out there and people, there are trips and everything that you can go to Antarctica. We never denied that.
Right. So they have degrees.
The fact that you walk onto another continent or another landmass and say, "Oh, I'm in Antarctica. I'm on this snowy landmass, this plain. I can see as far as the eye can see. So I must be on a globe."
No, they already know that they're on a globe. They knew that because they've had the indoctrinated. Yeah, they've had the indoctrinated. No, they've been educated. No, they've been educated, not indoctrinated. No, there's a difference.
No, there is a difference.
Yes, there's a difference.
Education and there's a difference between indoctrination. But just by you saying that the fact that they're out there working and they're in Antarctica, they know that they're on a globe.
Yes.
So why in that case, why do you think that the average Joe blogs, who maybe have got the money, the resources, why are they restricted from going to Antarctica?
No, you're not. No, anybody can go. Anybody can go there. Anybody can go.
They can't. No, they can't.
Yes, you can. You could book a flight.
Have you actually read up on the Antarctic Treaty?
You can book a flight right now.
No, please answer my question. Have you
read
up?
You can book a flight, and you can go. You can book a flight, and you can go there right now.
No.
Yes.
Cannot.
Yes, you can. No. Yes.
Will you just answer my one singular question? Have you read up on the Antarctic Treaty?
It says it's reserved for militaries can't be there. It's reserved as for scientific experiments and research.
Can I interject a quick question that anyone can answer, particularly Brenda? A two-part question. One, what requirements are needed from a person to qualify themselves as a scientist? So if I want to call myself a scientist, what are the preconditions? What's the prerequisites I must have personally to be a scientist? One, and two, do you believe all scientists agree? And if they don't, which scientist or which field or which level of expertise takes precedence if you have a disagreement among scientists?
So to call yourself a doctor, you have to have a degree and a certificate from the federal government where you have shown that you're competent to perform medicine. To be a scientist,
so like Dr. Phil.
To be a scientist, you need a 4-year degree and a diploma that says that you are a competent at the activity of research in the scientific field that you've chosen, any person can engage in scientific activity and do their own personal experiments, their own personal research and things like that. And you could technically call yourself a scientist, but socially, just like medical doctors, socially, to call yourself a scientist, you need to have the appropriate degrees that show that you have passed certain requirements. That just like being a lawyer or a doctor, right? Those are the requirements typically. But any person can perform scientific. You can perform tons of scientific experiments yourself. You can measure the circumference of the Earth. You can measure the distance to the moon. You can do a lot of scientific you can measure gravity. You can do it yourself. You can do all of these things yourself.
With you're saying without a degree, you can do these things without a scientific degree.
Yes.
Okay, and then so if somebody does have a degree and is in direct opposition of what you find, so you have two scientists, or a doctor, as you said, you have Dr. Phil in one room, and then you have somebody else in another.
Yeah, scientists disagree. Doctors disagree. Lawyers disagree. Doctors disagree. People disagree. Right. Yeah.
So then the hierarchy of who's correct, if we give all the final word to the umbrella term of scientist, who takes top of the hierarchy there?
Oh, what in science, what takes top of the hierarchy are the facts, evidence. Right. So there's no authority that determines what's true in science. What determines what's true in science are the facts.
Brenda, I'm curious. Well, how come you never? I haven't seen any videos of you as a person or your photos or anything like that. I'm curious. Why do you? Why do you hide that?
Because I'm transgender, and because I get an extraordinary amount of hate and abuse as it is, and I don't want to add fuel to the fire.
Am I not adding fuel to my fire? I mean, people hate me, but you're here because you hate what we're doing. Well, I don't know why it bothers you a bit.
Yeah. So I just don't want to be subjected to that kind of abuse.
So you think it's fair that you get to just go under the radar, and you don't have to show your face or anything, but you're willing to go ridicule people's belief systems? Isn't this a little bit? Isn't that a little bit? What's the word for that? Not fair. Yeah, it's hypocritical.
Thank you. Because I'm not ridiculing people for who they are. I am ridiculing ideas, and I'm not ridiculing ideas. I'm just refuting them. Right. But facts are what determines what's true. The Earth, has a radius and a circumference, an orbital period, and it revolves around the sun. These are all facts. And when I correct people, I am not ridiculing their ideas. I'm debunking their idea. And
okay, let's just stop. Hold on 1 second. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Don't be emotionally attached,
Brenda,
to those things.
I want to ask you a question. You can prove us all right now. You can squash this whole argument. Cool. It's easy to do your own science. How did you measure the circumference of the globe?
Oh, I didn't, but other people have.
Oh, you see what I'm saying? I love that. Do you have video of the 24-hour sun that you took yourself?
No.
And then after? No, you didn't. You should trust someone else.
Yes.
What science have you done? I'm curious. Did you do any? I want to ask a question. Hold on. You seem to be a proponent of people doing their own science because it's very easy to prove the Earth is a globe. What science do you do yourself that proved the Earth was a globe? Spinning.
Oh, I haven't performed any scientific, made any observations, astronomical observations myself. Right.
This is hilarious.
No, it's not. It's
no, it is. It is hilarious because you tell people science is easy to do themselves. You see, I've got a P1000. I've got a gyroscope. I do the tests, and they all fail the globe Earth experiment. They do. I don't know. Do you realize that?
Do you understand that what you're doing is called a genetic fallacy? Just because you haven't performed a test yourself doesn't mean that it's not true.
How are you switching stances on a dime like that? A second ago, you just said people can go do this all themselves. Did you not say that? Okay, I'm telling you, I did it. I'm telling you, I did it.
Yeah, that's not a contradiction.
It's not.
Right. You haven't shown, what is your data showing that the earth is flat? What measurements have you made? How have you measured the earth?
I'm not the one who has to, Brenda. This is the misconception. The earth is observably flat and observably motionless. You have
That's called
the burden of
begging
proof.
the question.
No,
That's called begging the question.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, when you assume that it's
you have the burden of proof, Brenda.
That's called begging the question.
You have the burden of proof.
I've got a question, Brenda. If we're going, let's say, science, right? Provable, measurable, observable, repeatable, and that is your foundation for the stability in your knowledge, right? I think
so scientific,
that's a commonality amongst us.
Are observable, repeatable, falsifiable, novel predictions.
Okay.
You have to make a prediction. A prediction is part of the scientific method. So I predict that if you go to 120,000 feet, like Mr. Sensible did, and take a picture, you will be able to see the curvature of the earth as Mr. Sensible in his major observation did.
So how much do you believe in those measurements of science? Like, would you put your weight on it?
Absolutely, yes. I would say with near 100% certainty. I might be a brain in a vat, and in that case, maybe the earth isn't flat. Maybe there is no earth. But short of my being a brain in a vat, I am highly confident that the earth is a globe with the dimensions given, right, to a reasonable degree of accuracy.
Brenda, aside from the details of the globe, you would put your weight on the scientific measurements that we just agreed were the foundation of science.
Yes, and I don't have to.
Do you believe?
I don't have to, just a sec. I just want to add, I don't have to make those measurements myself. Other people can do them, and it is still true.
So, do you believe that those measurements span across all the genres of science, as far as being measurable, repeatable? Or are they particular to certain fields of science?
Psychology doesn't care about the
okay, we'll take off psychology. So measurable, repeatable. If you are claiming that you are willing to put your weight on those facts, then let me ask you, do you have XY chromosomes?
Yeah, I do. This is a big deal for you, isn't it?
I believe it is, because in one sense you are putting your full identity on skewing scientific fact. That's very easily it's easier to measure. It's easier to observe someone's chromosomes under a microscope than it is to measure the circumference of the earth.
When I say I'm transgender, right, I'm saying that I'm transgender.
But you don't actually believe in the scientific proof across all fields of science.
I'm not saying, when I say I'm transgender, I'm not saying I was born female. That's literally what it doesn't mean. It means that it doesn't mean that. I'm saying that my identity is gendered. That gender.
I believe your identity of the earth is the same. It seems very subjective.
Gender is a social construct. It is not a scientific fact. Your sex, your natal sex, that is something you are born with. Gender is different. It is socially constructed.
Can someone call Ben Shapiro right now? We need Ben Shapiro.
I would love to debate him. I would humiliate him.
You would humiliate someone, but I don't think it would be Ben humiliated. But in one sense, you're taking.
I would. Since you brought this up and you've made this a deal, yes, I do. Because I am very confident and I know the facts. And the facts are that gender is a social, it's a social norm. It is not a biological determination. It just isn't.
Why are you willing to abandon something as easily measurable as an XY chromosome when that's very easily measured? Why are you willing Why are you willing to abandon what a slide under a microscope would say in order to make yourself feel better for something that's not factual?
Because your chromosomes are not the same as gender. Gender and sex are different. And I was born.
Okay.
I listen to this. I was born transgender. The part of my brain that determines how you identify is more like that of females than it is of males. And this is something that you're born with. God made me transgender.
Do you identify more with gravity or with relative density?
Gravity is a scientific fact that doesn't have anything to do with identifying anything.
No, it's a theory. Gravity is a theory.
It's a scientific theory.
It's a theory. It's a theory.
Yes, and scientific theory is, yes, that is science. That's the highest thing that any
is never proven. That's part of being a theory, is that it's never proven. That's what a theory is. You cannot prove a theory, right? Please acknowledge that. Please acknowledge.
Science doesn't prove anything. Science gives degrees of confidence.
So don't say it's proven, because it's scientifically not proven. And there's no experiment. Brenda, let me ask you this. Is there any experiment that manipulates an independent variable, mass, to demonstrate a correlation to gravitational force? What would be that experiment?
Yes, the Cavendish.
How does it manipulate mass?
You have four spheres, right? Two are inside the apparatus, two are on the outside. You manipulate the spheres, move them closer to the other two.
That's not manipulating mass. That's not manipulating the mass. No, manipulating the mass would be changing the amount of mass. And how did you rule out electrical forces?
You use something that is electrically neutral, like lead.
No substance on Earth, according to Walter Lewin, is without a charge. There's no substance. Are you going to argue with Walter Lewin, who's an MIT physicist? So you're saying he doesn't know what he's talking about?
No, you don't know what he's talking about.
I can pull up the video and just shut you down right now.
I know that what you're talking about, and you're misunderstanding it, right?
Oh, so but you understand it.
Yes.
A
ball of lead has no net charge.
It does, because he said all objects, all. He does. He says it in the video. Brenda, I can bring it up right now. Do you debate?
He doesn't say they have a net charge. He says electrostatics hold all the matter together, which is, of course, correct.
So you're a physicist as well. Do you have a PhD? I'm curious. I'm just saying how I interpret his things. I've watched his videos many times. Many times.
You misunderstood him because you apply a filter. You have your own way of interpreting them. So,
but you don't have a bias. You're absolutely neutral, 100%. Are you 100? So you don't have a bias. You have no filter.
A piece of wood doesn't have a net electric charge.
So if I could show you a video of someone levitating wood, you'd have to put your foot in your mouth, right?
You can charge them. Yes, you can.
Hold on, wait a minute. You're backtracking, Brenda.
No,
what are you talking about? You just compared wood to lead and said it has no net charge. Same thing you said about lead. Did you not say that? Are you not backtracking?
Both of them are neutral.
Okay, they are neutral, but you can levitate wood. Therefore, your argument is invalid.
No,
it is invalid.
That doesn't follow. That doesn't follow.
Yeah, because how do you know they're not charged? How do you where is the control that says they're not charged? How did you control that?
Well, you would just measure the electric charge.
That experiment where they measured the charge and where I can go observe that. Can I do that? Can I go observe?
Yes,
have you observed that experiment?
You can do it in high school.
Oh, we did. In high school, you all were doing the Cavendish experiment, and you were controlling for electrical forces. You expect us to believe that?
For measuring an electric charge, it's very simple.
I want a simple answer here. When you did the Cavendish experiment back in high school, you all measured. You all controlled the electrical charges. You all measured for that. You all were doing that in high school?
Excuse me, just calm down. So you can measure the electric charge with a piece of gold foil, right, in a jar, and with a wire and a ball leading to the outside of the jar. You touch it to the object, and it will tell you whether it is positively or negatively charged.
It doesn't. I don't care if it's. I don't care what the charge is. I don't care. You also have
What
something
I've been
called.
talking about is the charge.
How did you control for it? Is what I want to know. In high school, how did you control for it? That's what I'm asking. In high school, how did you control for it?
We didn't do the Cavendish in high school. That's
You said you did.
no, you weren't listening because you were being triggered. No, we didn't do the Cavendish in high school. People do that. People do it in university, but they don't do it typically in high school. Maybe some do.
You said high school, Brenda.
No.
I'm think everyone here heard you say high school. I'm pretty sure everyone did.
Oh, if I said it, then
I think you said you did it in high school. That's what I remember. Is you said you did it in high school.
I don't think I did, but if I did, then that was a mistake. I did not perform the Cavendish in high school. What I said you can do is you can use a piece of gold foil inside of a jar, right, with a lead going outside to a ball, and you can use that to measure the electric charge of an object. If you touch it to a piece of wood, it won't have a charge. If you touch it to a piece of lead, it won't have a charge. Typically, lead and wood do not have a net electric charge.
Okay, and when I levitate wood, does it have an electric charge when I levitate it? If I levitate it, what would happen if I were to measure that wood? Would it have an electric charge at that point in time, or would it be the field around it?
Yes, you would
that I'm
charge
manipulating.
it. Yeah, you would create a charge on it. The reason that Van de Graaff's generators will levitate things is because they get surrounded by a whole bunch of electrons, right? And then those electrons repel the electrons on the generator.
Brenda, I find it very odd that you are a PhD in science. What is your background?
This is high school.
I know. I just find it odd that you're this faceless person who comes onto channels, and your whole hobby is debating flat Earth, but yet you won't show your face, and you know everything about everything. Let's. I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna argue with you because I'll tell you what. I'll be honest and say, you know what? I'm not a PhD in science, and I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in electrical. But what I will say confidently, and I can say definitively, if the Earth were a sphere, PBS wouldn't have to fake curvature. National Geographic wouldn't have to fake curvature. That independent science company that was sponsored on Nat Geo in another video wouldn't have to fake curvature, and we wouldn't have to fake videos of the Antarctic sun. None of those would be necessary. None of them. Yet they all exist.
Bob Nodell and Jaron Campanella both proved that the Earth.
No, they didn't, Brenda. They did not. Neither of them proved the Earth. Neither of them.
Bob Nodell proved the Earth spins, and Jaron proved that the Earth is curved.
No, they didn't.
There was nothing proven. There was nothing proven.
Brenda, let me ask you something. If a mechanical gyroscope is proven to observe 15 degrees an hour of drift, and what I mean is, if I put it on a device that will turn at 15 degrees an hour, and it accurately detects 15 degrees an hour, is it not accurate enough to detect 15? I mean, it's not even a question. It's a fact. A mechanical gyroscope observes 15 degrees an hour of drift when you just set it on your table. Do you want to know how I know that? Do you want to know how I know, Brenda? Do you want to know how I know that?
How you know what?
Do you want to know how I know that?
How you know what?
Do you want to know how I know that a mechanical gyroscope observes 15 degrees an hour of drift? It's a video I'm working on right now.
Okay.
Are you saying my gyroscope right here does not observe 15 degrees an hour of drift? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that at all. What are you talking about? Bob Nodell.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What makes Bob's was an inaccurate gyroscope. His showed 2 degrees of variation on the same parallel. It varied by 2 degrees on the same parallel.
I don't know that's
inexplicable.
True. No, what Bob Nodell.
I don't expect you to know that because they always chop that off in the explanation, just like they don't explain that Jaron's measurements where if it were a globe, he would have expected to see 22 feet. He didn't see 22 feet. It saw 17 feet.
That's false. Have you watched Simon? Have you watched Simon Dan's latest? Where
No, I don't make a point to watch that nut job.
Yeah. Well, that's called indoctrination.
I agree. What your belief system and what you're subscribing to is called indoctrination. Simon Dan is an indoctrinator.
No, the fact that you're unwilling to consider alternative viewpoints is a feature of indoctrination. So MC Toon on Simon Dan showed that Jaron did in fact show that there is curvature, and that his proposed height of 23 feet was wrong.
Yeah, of course, right? No one, because they're the only ones that can do math, but everyone else that does the math, all the neutral ones, all agree with it. I saw that. I did see that video you're talking about. I did. I know exactly what you're talking about. But the fact remains, Brenda, that if the Earth were a sphere, there's 5 videos that wouldn't exist that do. That's a fact, right? And if gravity were real, we wouldn't. If gravity were real, point blank, I don't need to know the theory of relativity. I don't need to know the formula. I don't need to know what EMC equals. I don't need to know any of that. You know why? Because there wouldn't be a 3-body problem. It wouldn't exist.
That doesn't follow.
It does follow because
so gravity,
solar system does not work by the laws of gravity. It doesn't work.
That doesn't follow. So gravity is an observed phenomenon.
No, it's things fall down is not gravity, right?
That's not the phenomenon that we observe.
What phenomenon are you talking about?
I'm talking about Galileo's measurements of marbles going down an inclined plane. Galileo measured the acceleration due to gravity.
You're just, I love how you just say due to gravity, right? Like just,
Brenda.
It's just a fact. It's just due to gravity.
It is.
Brenda, can I just ask Brenda, do you subscribe to the 8 inches per mile squared?
What?
Do you subscribe to the 8 inches per mile squared of the curvature of the Earth?
I understand that it's a very good approximation for a fair amount of distance, but it doesn't show you. It doesn't show you the amount hidden.
Oh
no, right. It doesn't.
Yeah, I remember this.
It doesn't take into account the observer height, so it can't.
They plugged that in, Brenda. They're using Earth curve calculator. They're not just using 8 inches per mile square. You do understand that, right? Like they're not just
right. So if you calculate using 8 inches per mile, you can't plug in your observer height. You have to use a different formula for that, and so it won't show you the amount that you should expect to be hidden.
Right. He didn't use the 8 inches per mile squared. That's not what he used. That's just something we bring up when we're saying, do you know what the curve is? Right. Yeah. Assuming you're at ground level. That's fine. He didn't use 8 inch per mile squared. That's not what he did.
That's what, who's he?
Jaron. I know you're talking about Jaron.
He literally did. He told me.
No, he corrected for observer height. He did.
No, he didn't.
Okay. Well, we could have this argument all day long. It's not going anywhere. Brenda,
I spoke to him personally.
The short of the matter is
he literally asked me if 8 inches per mile squared was the correct formula, and I said yes, and he agreed, and he said that that's the formula he used.
Right. Listen, Brenda, we're gonna end on this note because it's we're not going anywhere. But everyone that's on this, everyone that's on this
go anywhere? Did you really expect?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
We can just have a conversation. Can you explain why ships disappear over the horizon yet?
They don't. We have got thousands of videos. They don't. They do. We go beyond you're talking to someone who's not indoctrinated. Everyone on this little podcast here has seen the real video. We've seen them. You can't.
I don't know if you have.
I know you're trying to trick the people watching, but we've all seen the truth.
Ships disappear over the horizon, and no zoom can bring those ships back.
They can, but we also that's called atmospheric lensing. Don't mix atmospheric lensing with ships sailing over the curve.
There's no such thing as atmospheric lensing.
Yes, there is. There is. I can pull up a video right now that shows it where you have an island in the background and the ocean foreground goes up and down. Do you want to say that doesn't exist? Do you want to say
that's called refraction?
call it refraction, call it whatever you want. We call it, call it whatever you want.
Real quick, somebody in the comments called it. I don't know who. There's a couple comments down. They called it the refraction card would get pulled next. Bam.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
Because refraction is real, you have to take it into account.
Right. So can we agree that a boat's hull can be refracted and disappear due to refraction? Can we agree that?
Not just the hull, no.
Brenda, you have no, you're not telling the truth here, right? You have no intellectual honesty.
Not just the hull.
It could be anything, right? It could be the whole thing, right?
Right. If a ship gets refracted up above, loomed up above the horizon, then the whole ship gets loomed up above it.
No, Brenda, I can listen. You're just lying now. And do you know how I know you're lying? Because I've got the video that I can pull up right now that shows over a time lapse an island in a city in the background being obstructed by a hump of water, and it's not really a hump of water. It looks like a hump of water, but we know that it's not, right?
Yeah,
because
no hump.
Where there's no tide.
Yeah, there's no hump on the globe. There's no hump.
I agree with you. That's the first thing you said that's been correct.
Yeah,
there is no hump on the globe.
There's curvature. Things are obstructed by the earth, not by a hump.
I call it a geometric horizon. There's no geometric horizon.
Yeah, there's necessarily a geometric horizon by definition on any spherical
There needs to be one for there to be a globe. I'm saying there's not. I agree with you that there does need to be one.
The black swan is a fallacious argument. It's a fallacy.
Yeah. Well, so where we are is you're just going to come on here and spew that you're just rifling off everything that we believe in is.
I'm going to disagree with you.
And then we change you. Go ahead,
the fact
Stuart.
the boat disappearing, it would have to be. Globals would say it's a physical curve that the boat's going beyond and over that we can't see. When proven through the optics of today, that what we actually see is the observable optical horizon in the distance is the limit.
The apparent horizon. Yeah, the apparent horizon is
horizon.
Yeah, the apparent horizon is not the same as the geometric horizon. They're different.
We agree about that.
Yeah, and they can be in different places. They can be in different places.
But Brenda, I think we entertained this enough. I appreciate you coming on. It was fun.
I'll come back anytime.
I do have a question though. Do you have a God, or are you godless? I'm out of curiosity.
Oh, I'm an atheist. I debate theists too. Right?
Okay,
you want to talk? You want to debate atheist?
No. I'm just. Do you have anything on modern day debate? Have you been on there yet?
I have been maybe a couple years ago, but I haven't been lately because it's kind of a train wreck. It's not very well moderated in my opinion. So
yeah, but I'm gonna level with you. Like, I respect you coming on. I respect you as a person. I respect your beliefs. No matter what you believe, I respect all people on this planet.
I respect people. I don't respect beliefs. Right.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But in my opinion, like what I believe in my head, whether it's true or false, and I just think that you know the truth, which is the same thing that me and Angelica and Stuart know, and everyone else watching this feed, or 90% of them. But your job is to come on here and hide that truth.
If you had the truth, you could give me evidence, and you have given me no evidence.
Can I
None.
ask you,
Do you have one shred of evidence for flat Earth?
Yeah, I have a ton. I have like terabytes of evidence. Literally.
No,
terabytes.
actual evidence of measurements of the flat Earth.
There's no 24-hour Antarctic sun. There you go. There's no 24-hour Antarctic sun. There's my one evidence.
That's not evidence for the Earth being flat.
It's evidence enough for me, Brenda.
That's not, because it's not evidence.
It's all I need. You show me a real 24-hour Antarctic sun, and we'll have another conversation.
You just deny them, right?
Because you can prove them fake. Anyone that takes the time to look at them, they're all debunked. It's so easy. You guys don't even care. I think they have a rule. I honestly, I think they have a rule that there has to be a tell. Because they're weird like that. They have this thing where they're not allowed to lie to you, like without telling you they're lying to you, right? So everything they put out fake,
Really,
they do some. I really think that. I really do.
You're really paranoid, aren't you? That's really sad.
No, I'm.
Can I do one sec? Can
Yeah,
I
it's
just
really
ask Brenda?
sad. You're so paranoid. You think that
Brenda.
there's these people conniving against you, and they're not. They don't give a damn about you. They don't know you even exist.
Great.
Brenda,
I like flying under radar.
Is there
Best way to
anything?
be.
Is there anything, Brenda, that gives you heart satisfaction or whatever, knowing or thinking that you live on this ball in a vacuum? Is there anything that sort of like gives you great pleasure in thinking that you live on a ball in a vacuum? I mean, what supports that?
No, it's just a quotidian fact. So it's just an ordinary
What's that? A quotidian fact?
Quotidian. It's a daily. It's just an
Quotidian.
ordinary. It's just an ordinary fact of existence that we live on a ball.
No, but
none of our technology today could work. You know, GPS.
Wrong.
GPS.
Brenda, let me say you right there. You're talking to two technologists right now. You're talking to two pretty sharp technologists. You don't want to go down the technology road because you can't hang with me in technology. I promise you that.
Yeah, well, GPS is based on relativity and based on satellites orbiting the Earth and geosynchronous orbit. So,
oh my God! Can we go into satellites? Oh my God!
Yeah. Well, you were wanting to cut it before. Yes, satellites certainly exist. You can see them. You can see them.
I know that's amazing, Brenda. Can you see a bus from 250 miles away? Can you see a bus from 250 miles away?
No, it's going to be over the curve.
Brenda, do you believe?
Oh, so if there were no curve, if it were a flat, you're claiming you could see a bus from 250 miles away if there were no curve.
Yeah.
We're done. We're done. You've proved you have no intellectual capacity to handle this argument.
What are you talking
There's
about?
nobody on this channel that believes that. Nobody.
Yeah, if there's
nobody.
Yes, you could see a bus 250 miles away, right?
No.
Yes.
Listen, I want to tell you a little story. Me and my dad last weekend. I'm going to mute you real quick. So this is easy. Hold on, let me just mute her. There we go. Now you can. Oh no, I kicked her out. I meant to mute her. How do I mute? Hold on. Here, I'll just mute her like this. There we go. She's muted. You know, me and my dad were driving down the highway the other day, and we're always talking about this subject, and we were trying to look up the road a mile. Like we were going around a bend, and we were talking about this very subject. I said, Dad, do you think you could see a bus from 10 miles away? And he's like, no, we could only see a mile. And the car was like, the bus at a mile was like the size of, it was like this, you know, it was like this. We're just like a mile away. And could you imagine 249 more miles, right? Brenda, thanks for coming on. Still got you muted. We appreciate the time you spent with us, but I do think we're done at this point in time. Does anyone else? Are we good? We good to let Brenda go, everybody? I'm good.
Your show, mate. Your show.
Do you have something you want to ask her? I'm good. If you got something you want to ask her.
Well, no, because obviously we know the rebut, don't we? I mean, the fact that anyone can believe that these metal thingamabobs that supposedly launched and orbiting in a geocentric sort of like, I don't know, no. Anybody that could.
I think we've gleaned as much information from Brenda as what we could possibly glean. The field is stripped bare.
Yeah. Well, and here's my thing, right? Is it's the best evidence, in my opinion. The best evidence is, and that's the video I'm making right now, is five videos that should not exist on the face of this earth. They should not exist. PBS did a flat earth hit piece where they faked earth. Nat Geo did a flat earth hit piece where they faked the curvature of the earth. Then there was an independent one called IFC, Institute for something, and they were featured on Nat Geo, and they faked the curvature of the earth. And then there's countless videos of the 24-hour Antarctic sun where they are easily proven as fakes. And then you've got the two fake vacuum tests by BBC. BBC faked a vacuum test where they tested a spacesuit, but you had two guys without spacesuits in the chamber with whatever his name is. I forget his name. Yeah. And then they did one with where they faked the feathers falling with the bowling ball with Brian Cox. So those things wouldn't exist. It wouldn't need to if gravity were real and the earth were a sphere, right? But they do exist.
You're not very tolerable, are you, Bobby?
Huh?
You're
What's
not,
that?
I was going to say you're not very tolerable, are you, to anti flat earthers?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
I
Like I
know,
had to
no, I
cut it
know,
off because
no.
I.
It's very hard, and it very difficult.
Yeah. My goal is to get to a point where I can my goal is to eventually get to a point where nobody gets under my skin at all, no matter how much I sit. Yeah. James May was the guy. Nice Darth Mocker. But we'll see. I've still got that old part in me that I'm trying to.
I was looking forward actually where that was going, but
For me, it's impossible to even entertain the information that is coming from a person who is in such a, and I don't mean this as in a personal, like this person's reality doesn't support their ability to exist day in and day out in whatever world they created, but such as and I don't know what everyone's stance on it is, but the whole identity as a transgender requires you to manually abandon certain baseline of fact. And if a person operates well in that, fine, do it, but then it indicates what your baseline of information is. And it's hard for me to, it's like if you go into a house with a shaky foundation, do you want to go up to the third floor? No, not really. I really don't trust the foundation of what everything you're saying is built upon. And so for me, that's one of the initial litmus tests is you're willing to hold your ground across whatever field of science you're saying. If a scientist goes to Antarctica, then they are the ultimate voice of reason, and therefore we shall not question. But then you just switch over to biology and like, well, this is what science says, but I am completely willing to ding dong ditch that and jettison everything that it says so that I feel comfortable with what I want to be true. And so everything that Brenda, or whatever his real name is, but his pseudonym Brenda, whatever that person is willing to abandon to feel comfortable with what they want to believe, I believe taints everything else that they're saying. It's a paintbrush that goes over the entire canvas. And so for me to get right down to the basis of why are you willing to abandon certain facts, that sets the standard, I believe.
Yeah. That's deep and profound. Let me someone asked why flat earth and coffee. I wanted to explain that real quick. I used to have a podcast called Jiu-Jitsu and Coffee because I'd been doing jiu-jitsu for 20 years now. And that's another passion of mine. And I like coffee. So I would do the podcast with coffee, and some other guys would come on, and it was kind of mandatory. You had to drink coffee on the podcast. And some of my students would come on and they'd put whiskey in their coffee. Right. But anyway, I couldn't shut up about flat earth. Right. We would start off talking about this match and that match. And then every single podcast ended with it going to flat earth for an hour. So I realized, all right, I can't do a jiu-jitsu podcast because I can't shut up about jiu-jitsu. And then I moved, again. So there was like a 2-year period where I was just moving. And by the time I got settled, I moved again. And I finally got settled down in my, 2 moves later. And now I'm back on. And the theory would be that I'd be drinking coffee right now, but I don't have a coffee. So sorry. So that's how I got the name Jiu-Jitsu and Coffee, or Flat Earth and Coffee. Sorry. Boy, that Brenda was interesting though, but just post the question there, Brenda. No disrespect to you. Like, I wish you all the best. I just, you have an agenda. You really should if you were really a seeker of knowledge, you would be asking why we would believe what we believe, but you're not. You're just saying wrong. You get your fingers in your ears. I say that I asked you what scientific experiment you did. You said none. I've been doing experiments, right?
I'd love to know, like I asked him, and I think a lot, like you mentioned before, Bobby, that Globies get on here. My, I don't know what is it that satisfies, or what in their souls satisfies them to I mean, to come on, for people to come on, and for people to obviously realise the topic that we go on about. So the fact that they obviously don't investigate it or look into it, what gives them that heartfelt satisfaction that we live on this ball in a vacuum, and that's it, and that's how it is. When at the end of the day, when you look into it, that's just a prison. It's just a prison, absolute 100% prison for your mind.
It's a prison, but you have good company. And I believe by proxy, people that are deficient in whatever, we have such an imputed honor since we were little to astronauts, and just the whole, these people are smarter than me and they're heroic and what have you. And so even though personally you may be deficient in the ability to calculate the formulas that are made up and all these things, you feel that by association, by proxy, if you align yourself with these honorable career choices, then through some sort of diffusion process, you absorb that into your own honor, and you can, you may be a pawn on the board, but at least you're on the board, right? And so I think that, yeah, they're in a prison, but they're in there with people that they feel validate their meaningless, overly simplistic existence, and therefore they're just sticking that name tag, like I'm on Team NASA, right? And
yeah, Team NASA, yes, yeah.
It's just that honor's imputed to them. Yeah,
that's it though, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we've all, and I've said this before, we've all been there. We've all been. I think every single human being on this earth has been there in the indoctrinated system. We've all been through it in our generation, anyway. Within our generation, everybody's been through it. To awaken to it is, for me, is so soul opening, for want of an expression. And the fact that I mean, we don't have to prove. We just know by sort of like daily observations. We don't have to prove that we live on this flat plane. And these sort of like flat earth deniers and whatnot, the fact that the ability is out there for the likes of NASA or people with the money, people with the resources, the powers that be, that had the powers out there to prove us wrong in many ways. We don't have the power to prove we live on this flat plane, because for me, I don't think you'd ever see a flat plane as high as you took a rocket, as high as you went up, because for me it's just an infinite sort of like glacier sort of like spread. But for the fact that if we lived on a globe, the provability of we living on a globe from the likes of NASA could put this flat Earth to bed 100% straight away. Like, I've just been reading some of the comments. I mean, the fact that let's fire a rocket, send a rocket off facing Earth from Australia or something that's supposedly down at the bottom of a ball, and everybody's upside down, the water's stuck to this ball, a constant feed of going out, that would prove that we've got people hanging upside down under the ball. The fact that let's fly around Antarctica, both sides of Antarctica, and meet on the other side. Provable. Do it. NASA, whoever, do it. Prove us wrong. And the only way that we could prove that we are flat is where we're barred from doing it is if we went out as far south and continue going south as possible. And let's see where we end up to.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, by the way, several people have said they have a crush on you, Angelica. There's someone in the chat said, not in a weird way. They just wanted to say not in a weird way.
Yeah.
And someone the other day said it too. I just wanted, you're the reason. That's why I bring you on, right? So people can stare at you while we talk, so.
They have no idea the rest of the picture that they're missing, because I got on my pajama pants and I got a baby. Yeah, I got a baby on my hip.
Yep.
And,
let me make her
you're
a little bit
the yummy
hotter.
mummy.
Hold on. Angelica's a banger, y'all. Y'all don't know what that means. She's a straight banger, right? And what I mean by that is she's a solid MMA fighter, like solid. When I say she's a banger, she's a banger. So I've seen her bang several times, and the girl can bang. You don't want to grapple with her. You don't want to stand up with her. She will chew you up and spit you out. So,
but I got like one round in me, because my cardio is not all that. So yeah, whatever I can do to deflate that picture of whatever someone's saying. But yeah, besides first in line's Brenda. So I mean, Brenda's my first love.
You just shared that photo where you were shredded for like one of your fights. You had the bikini on. You know, can you find that?
Oh,
you got that one?
You mean hungry? No, hungry.
Yeah,
that's what that.
You were like super hungry, like ready to demolish the pizza. If you find that photo, we'll share it. We'll share it with the.
My opponent, I would have licked her face. I was so hungry. I was so hungry. So normally I walk when I'm strong. I walk around 145-ish, and at that time in my fighting career, I would weigh in at 115, and so I would go into the sauna and just look at my body and discuss. I'm like, can I just cut this off? And I can, when you're in that sense of delusion, like, yeah, I can just cut this off real quick. But then you're like, then I'm going to have an infection by tomorrow and all these things. Yeah, those shredded pictures are, if I was doing a commercial for hungry children in Ethiopia, that's as close as I could have got. Yeah.
That waist was striated. Let me tell you, I've never had a striated waist. Never. I've always had that little donut waist, man. Always,
Yeah.
Never. But anyway, back at it. So for you guys that are out there wondering, yeah, she's a hottie.
I feel like they're not getting an accurate picture. I mean, I could bring that back to reality real fast in case maybe their connection's wrong or something, but yeah, I'd rather just be like, for my charm, wit, and personality, because everything else is aging so fast, Yeah,
but she will solid choke 99% of y'all out. She will straight up. There's no doubt about that.
Kick you in the throat easily because I'm too tired to fight. I'm just gonna get it done. Yeah.
But back to the conversation at hand, man. The comments have been lit, man. They've been some of these guys are straight savage, by the way. I don't want to, it's funny at any rate. I can't, well, it's up on screen. Hopefully y'all been paying attention. I'm going to have to go back and read. I couldn't keep up with it. I missed a lot. For everyone that's shown up, man, thank you. We've put down an hour and 30. We'll probably put down another 20 minutes or so. I'll try to keep it around 2 hours. This has been a real, just what's the word? I don't know the word for it. Real amazing month for me, because all in the last month, holy crap, man. Check this out. F-Tup World's online, Joe Hill, all the people who are legends, right? Like for me, like Angel, I've sent his stuff to lots of people, He has some profound stuff, man. First person I ever saw anyway. We'll save that for when I get Joe online, but we've had F-Up Hill has kind of gave me, I'm all flustered, man. Deep in the Rabbit Hole, David Weiss, Jaronism, Witsit, Taboo Conspiracy, they all gave me a shout out, and I was just like, dang, man, I must be doing something right. But that is just super.
As well. Melodome's in the house.
Melodome, man, he was just on, and I heard Zachary Zabala, someone said he was online. Melodome too, yeah, that's man, some super cool channels that gave me a little shout out. So I'm just like floating on cloud nine. So now I got to like do my best work. Like I'm so motivated now. I've just this next video that's coming out, it is going to slay it. It is going to absolutely slay it. It's going to be on a whole new level. So
Bobby, I'm going to help you out. Let me help you out just for whoever's listening. So this way they know Bobby's the most handsome man on the planet. He's super tall. He's in really good shape. You can ask him anything. He's at least bilingual. I believe he cooks good meatloaf. And what else we got?
That's true. It's true. The meatloaf is true.
That's the one. And he's good at home repairs. Yeah.
I can do some home repairs.
I just wanted to support you from the bottom up there.
All right, man. Where are we going from here? That's cool, man. Everyone, much love from the Flat Earth community. That is so cool. And honestly, Stuart, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here, because you're the first person that would come on and talk with me, man. You're the first person. So many people are afraid to show their face. right? They're afraid. I think there are, do you know what I heard? There was I wish I saved the clip. If anyone has this clip, please send it to me, please. There's a clip where Joe Rogan said, he was talking with, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson, I could be wrong about who it was, but he said 30 to 36% of the people in the world were flat earthers. I wish I had saved it because I think he asked a question. Do you know how many flat earthers are? It's like 30 or 36%. We're not going to get those real numbers. We don't know where they are. I saw a clipping, which I did save, that said like 12 million Brazilians believe the earth is flat. 12 million. That is an insane number. 12 million. I'm going to share that as well. So I don't think what they do is, and man, I hope we get FTEP World online sometime. And Angelica, you would love it. You would absolutely love it, man. So that would be so cool. FE Nation also. I saw him last night when I was watching oh God, I just said the word earlier. Something Clism. I watched Jeranism show last night. I forget the word, but anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All these that one. I forgot where I was going now. Yeah, so I want to do a video on that. Like how many people, if anyone has that video for Joe Rogan, let me know if they see it. But I think that there's a lot more flat earthers out there. And like even on my timeline, I think that there are hundreds, like on my Facebook profile, I think there's hundreds of people and they're just afraid to say something. They're afraid of looking stupid, and nothing's going to change until you just come out and put your face with it. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. You can't say it's not flat until you went out to space. If you forget all the arguments. Until you went out to space and looked at a sphere in the rearview mirror, you can't say. I don't care what we can have arguments about, electromagnetism and the Antarctic sun. Until you see it in space, it's not real, and people should know that. So, I remember arguing with one of my friends from high school who became a pilot, and dude was like, "I said, man, you don't." You fly straight and level, right? And he goes, no, we don't. We dip down every few miles. I have to dip down. I was like, dude, I know you're lying because I've seen interviews with many pilots, many. And he's like, I said, just make a video then. Make a video because you can squash the whole argument. Just you're a pilot, film it, right? And you know what he did? He dropped from my timeline. This is one of my friends from high school, and it goes to show you that some people will straight up lie because they think they can save you from your craziness. They don't realize they're the ones with the psychosis. They think that he was willing to lie to me because he wanted to save me from my psychosis. He thought he was doing a noble thing. And unfortunately, there's people out there doing that. And that's the sad thing. That's the sad part.
It's like that image up there. The fact an aircraft has to sort of like every 2 minutes, it has to nose down to go around the globe.
Where's my mouse here? Hold on. Hey, by the way, if anyone wants to message me about coming on the show, it's flattalk@bobbythompson.net. I just posted it in the chat. I've not seen everyone's comments. So if you said something about coming on the show, podcast, whatever you call it, I'd love to have you on. There's some straight legends that have visited this channel, and I don't know why, but I'm honored. We're honored. I say me, like it's just me. Angelica and Stuart's on every show, but I'd love to get some of these new faces in here. And my goal, the reason I call it when I do the podcast Flat Earth Chronicles, is because I wanted to have intellectual conversations with people, whether skeptics or not, as long as they can have an intellectual conversation. And we could show that, like why you have your belief systems and what the top proof was for you, what flipped you, what turned you over. And I could start getting a better psychological picture. I wanted to keep some statistics. And I just wanted to put faces with the community. I think we all have to come out about it. You have to. I came out on my timeline. That's cool.
Well, I believe
that's super cool.
What you said is community, and those numbers that you reference from Joe Rogan and some of the other statistics. The idea that we need to be kept separate is one of their best ways to keep the truth from coming out. Because let's say you put something on YouTube or Facebook about a Sasquatch or some sort of garden gnome, there is not going to be an automatic footnote on the bottom like, Sasquatch is archaic, and like nobody cares because there's no implication as to the effect of the government takedown that would incur if more people believe that. They just let it go because it's a non-issue. But as soon as you post something flat earth, it comes with all these taglines and your account is tethered and all these things. And so one of the best ways to do is to keep us separate, keep the gazelle separated from the herd in essence. And so while they can't necessarily suppress the truth, they can try to scrub it. The best thing that they can do is keep us in our individual pods of information. And so, yeah, these gatherings of whatever format it is, it's one of the best ways to strengthen the spines of others, because it's hard to stand up when you think you're alone. Not many people have that resolve, but yeah.
I think we got to come out about it. And that's the thing. One of the videos I have lined up is called Let's Talk About It, right? I've already got the thumbnail. I've got like 20 or 30 videos lined up that I plan on doing. All lined up. And let's talk about it. I'm just going to come out and make a video and say, guys, let's just talk about it. Just come on the show or not. I'm willing to talk with people about it off the show, which I already have. I had one guy I had a 3-hour conversation with about, and he was kind of ragging the show. Like he was leaving some negative comments on my videos. And when I talked to him, he thought I was a troll. He thought I didn't believe what I believed. He was angry that I was just kind of trolling people. And after we talked, 3 hours into it, and I shared some videos, I'm like, no, man, I believe this. Look, have you seen, do you know what's amazing to me? There are people out there that love NASA. They love it. And they haven't seen any of the NASA bloopers. Like they don't know about bubbles in space, insects in space. They don't know about the models they use. They don't know about the strings. They don't know. They've never looked into they've never even looked at archive videos of moon landings. That amazes me, is that they have done zero research. And there's so many people that have no idea. That amazes me. I'm just blown away by that.
Do y'all remember there was a Robin Williams movie, I believe it was called The Cutter or The Cut, something like that, where it was futuristic, but looking at it now, you're like, well, that's probably not that far off, or at least not that far off from being public. But his job was to take memories after somebody had died, and it was futuristic enough. You remember that? And they would take the memory card or whatever out of their brain implant, and he would edit these videos so that at the funeral there would be a presentable memory, like a photo book, but done from the perspective. Yes. And it almost, do you remember that one scene where, and I don't remember all the characters and what led up to it, but there was a scene where there was a canoe or a boat or something. And I want to say Robin Williams' brother or someone came in and was like, hey, you remember that as red, didn't you? But it was really blue or something like that. And what they were referencing is what this guy saw in his memory as a red canoe or a blue canoe. The other person who also shared that memory remembered it as a different color. And they're like, odd, isn't it? And it was eye-opening that this person's memory was so solidified as to a very specific, vibrant color, but it wasn't that color at all. And it reminds me of like how you were saying, these NASA videos. I mean, I remember as being a kid sitting in an elementary classroom where they roll the TV in on that squeaky wheeled cart, like, hey, we're going to watch a movie today. And the moon landing, and it's so realistic and so inspiring. And you look at it now, you're like, did I really remember it as that? Because now you see the little rope dangling the shuttle and it bounces off, and it's like a horrible ride at a dilapidated children's park where everything's just rusty, but you remember it as so inspiring. Like, did I really change what I saw?
That was a great movie, by the way. I'm going to watch that this weekend. I forgot all about that.
One,
and that was such a good movie. I'm so glad you brought that up. Which movie was that? It's the one with she just described it. I'm going to look for it.
It's called
I'll let you know in just a second.
Or Cut something. It's kind of a dark movie.
Can't say I've watched that, but that's definitely one for the to put in the. I'll have to look that one up.
I totally forgot what I was going to say now. I got to write down my thoughts. I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Crap. Oh, now I know what it was. If there is anyone on here that has not seen OK Go, it's a group, it's a band out of somewhere. And they have a song called Upside Down and Inside Out. Go watch that video. You can't share it. Flat Earth, you can't share it because they're going to take it down instantly. You can't, there's no way you can share the video. So a lot of flat earthers or skeptics haven't seen it, but they do a one take, and in a 0G plane, and watch that video. And it is amazing.
Why would it be taken down?
Because you can't share, it's copyrighted music. I can't, if I share it, it'll get struck.
Right.
Yeah, I can't, I wish I could, but I can't. All I can do is I've linked to it. I've linked people. I've shared the link before, but I doubt people have looked at it. They're like, okay, great, a video. No, you don't understand. It shows how easy it is to fake ISS footage, because they're floating around and it's just crazy. And this is like a 6-year-old video or something like that, but they did it in one take. Just remember that when you watch the video, they tell about it ahead of the video. They say, we did this in one take nonstop. So it's OK Go as the group, and the song is called Upside Down and Inside Out, which is a really good song too. And by the way, all their videos are crazy. All their videos are amazing. Not that I'm a fan or anything.
Someone just posted The Final Cut is the name of that movie.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to watch that this weekend, actually.
Yeah.
That was such a good. Normally I just sit and watch videos. I lay in bed at night a couple hours a night and just check. I watch people's channels, and two things we got to show. Hold on, let me write this down because I'll forget. Crap, I think I already forgot one. I'm that mad. Hold on. Oh, what was the other one? Oh yeah, and sorry about all the banging, guys. Two other things I really recommend watching. Right. Did anyone see McToon did a hit piece on Terry Eicher? I think his channel is called Flat Out Truth, and his name is Terry Eicher. So McToon did this hit piece on him, and he totally lied. Totally. I mean, this is the most blatant, misleading chopping of someone's video I've ever seen. And I want to feature but the problem is if I feature it, I'll get struck, right? But it shows how much they lie. It shows how much that video right there that McToon did shows. And what you don't want to look at the McToon version. You want to look at Terry Eicher's reply. Terry Eicher did a reply to McToon and showed that he was straight up lying to his audience. And he is. I think every flat earther should show that, to show what lengths these globalists go through, or globe earth proponents go through, to make flat earthers look. They will straight up lie. They will straight up deceive you. The other thing I wanted to say is there's a channel called Yes, It's a Conspiracy. I can't remember the guy's name, but I've watched several of his videos. He did one on gravity. I reshared it and I called it Real G's versus Fake G's. But man, I never paid attention to that before until he really showed how much these people in the cockpits of these rockets are hitting 4 and 5 Gs, and most people pass out at like 2 Gs, right? And they're just sitting there like humdy-dum, like they're effortlessly hitting 4 and 5 Gs. So it's
that
so
was
blatant.
That was the last one you did, wasn't it? About the Gs.
No, I did one called Space Bloopers, my top 25.
Oh, was that your last one? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was supposed to be top 10, and I'm like, oh crap, got to make it 11, 12, 13. And there was like,
yeah,
I could have made it 200. I could have made it 500, right? I could honest, but what's the point? No one's going to watch more than 9 minutes, right? Like 9 minutes is kind of like the top attention span of 99% of people. Dude, I gotta ask, I think it's Joe, right? With F World, but I'm terrible with names, but I do love your content. But I gotta know if that was really McToon, man. Like, I don't know. I saw you post that. He posted with a lot of people. I only found out recently that you can post with Facebook like you can with YouTube like you can with Facebook. So I've been posting. And F'd Up World posted one of him in a photo with what looked to be McToon. I honestly can't tell if it was McToon or not, but I wonder if it was. He said, I think I converted him, guys. And I'm like, what? That'd be pretty funny. It was a funny photo nonetheless, no matter true or not. It was funny. But yeah, try to watch that Terry Eicher video where McToon, MC Toon, whatever you want to call him, straight up lied, because everyone should see that, everybody. And then you realize that this guy will straight up lie to make you look bad, right? Terry never lied against him. I never seen Terry do one lie. Now Terry did a video on him, but it was all fact. It was like, let's look at what's in his room. The dude's got rockets, Star Wars, pop figures, right? Like he's a kid. The dude's trapped in a kid's body. But he never lied. Everything, his video was based on fact.
So the ridiculousness, I think our algorithms feed different things into our social media, because I know, Stuart, you were saying last time that you get suggested or fed a lot of legit articles and whatnot. I seem to get the opposite. Like, look what NASA discovered today, and it's the worst watercolor paint job ever. And so I'm being trolled on my own line. But have you guys seen all the articles of that? And I'm going to use the quote scientists, because that's just a word, right? But that scientists are certain that the Earth's core has reversed its, and they bring up some sort of overlay graphic where those Russian nesting dolls, where one goes into the other, into the other, into the other, and that's what they depict the Earth core at. And obviously we know the whole thing is hokey, but it just made me feel even more sorry for those that will look at that and be like, way to go, guys. This is breaking news here. Because even the simple fact is, how would you even suggest that you measured that? Like, there's no I mean, so that particular claim that they're making, we know holds no water, obviously, but they're not even trying anymore to say, oh, we measured this based on, or how would you even begin to say that you came to this conclusion based on ABC? It's like they're not even trying, and we want to be lied to. It's overwhelming.
3 things. We hit 90 viewers, which is a record. Number 2,
Yes.
Effed Up World said, yes, it really was Michael Toon. And I've got to hear this story, because he did not expand on that in his post. And just so y'all know, went out and just watched that OK video, and he said, that's crazy stuff. It's better than any NASA footage. Watch the video. I'm dead serious. Watch that OK Go video and look how old it is. And they tell you it was in one take. And if anyone that's all, NASA fanboy, show them that video and be like, dude, this is how easy it is. One take, they did this.
I don't know. Well, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark here.
Yeah.
Can I just interject that been a fantastic show. I mentioned you at the beginning, because one particular subject I want to really go deep into, and maybe we can do it on another live stream, and I mentioned it to you probably there, that I don't know if you've got any views on this either, Angelica. The Challenger. We've got to go deep into our own theories of the Challenger, because there's so many out there as to sort of like what happened, what didn't happen, or sort of like who are they? Have they got twins and all this lot? So I just thought I'd interject that one for possibly another show, guys. So
I just want to say, hold on. I just want to say, is it now what I call it? NASA Challenger, NASA bloopers, NASA.
I think we're all of the agreement that the Challenger explosion was not legit, right? I mean, that goes without saying. Yeah. So I believe these false flags, whether it be Sandy Hook to things like the Challenger, all of these. Now, it doesn't mean that people didn't die. I don't believe anyone in the Challenger died, but on some of these, I think people did die, but not obviously by the method of what's being presented. But the psyche behind that to me is the same as now I've never been to war, but you hear of soldiers that come back, particularly from these countries that don't mind throwing their kids on the front line, like some of the Arabian countries. I'm saying, I'm just speaking from the soldiers' accounts when they come back. I don't know this firsthand, but it seems to be across the board, and it seems to affect them psychologically enough for me to believe it's true. But when our soldiers are given the command, such as if there's a fence or any sort of barrier, and our soldiers are told, whatever comes over that fence, you kill it. Whatever comes over the fence, kill it. And then so the opposing sides would be throwing their kids over, armed, of course, with, explosive and whatnot. And then that soldier is immediately faced with the follow order and kill it, or obviously be killed, right? We know that paradoxical dilemma that shouldn't face any human. And the psyche behind that to me is the same as when they do these things such as the Challenger, is if you challenge the Challenger by any means, you are facing a barrage of people who are only emotionally invested in that you're attacking the sacredity of human life, and you're wanting people to die, and you're making a mockery of these dead people and whatnot, and they cannot see past that. And to me, the psyops that are behind these false flags, it's the equivalent of the opposing soldiers that are tossing their kids over, knowing that if you shoot, you're shooting something so innocent looking, but knowing that if you don't, that explosion is going to happen. And I believe that's why they connect it to these emotional things.
Yeah, well, when you talk about psyche there, I mean, one thing that got me, and I watched a few videos on it regarding the Challenger. I mean, other than probably the moon landings, late 60s or whatever, when you think about it, the psyche on the kids, because for the Challenger, it was pretty much worldwide, where schools were brought into a hall specifically for this event, the Challenger event. And the psycho effect that must have had on so many kids of seeing this so-called Challenger explode. And to me, it was a psyop thing to get it. Oh well, no, well, we can't do any more shuttle or space sort of like launches regarding the shuttle, because obviously we can't do it no more. It exploded and all this lot. But when you think about the psycho effect that must have had worldwide, pretty much on children that were gathered to watch the Challenger, but that's just sus in itself. No other sort of like launch or anything was so publicized and so indoctrinated as the Challenger was. So it makes you think, why that one, and why did we have this great massive explosion? supposedly all sort of like 7 astronauts died, and so it's just a one for me. I just sort of like to go into, you know what I mean?
With just the right amount of background music or backdrop music, that'll
yeah.
If you can't get them with facts, get them with an instrumental cut.
That's the one. What are you showing here, by the way?
I was listening to y'all at the same time. I just thought this was hilarious and popular. Imagine these astronauts signing books, just cracking up, right? Like, they have got the helmet in there, man. They have got the helmet. They have got one larger than this. Is hilarious, man. Like, people are out there seriously getting these books signed, and these astronauts just got to be cracking up.
Are those testicles not even sized either?
Right. Like, this is in their book, right? Like, whatever book this came from, it was this is in the cover when you open up one of their Apollo books, and like, that's hilarious to me. But they use it all the time, right? They've used it, they show this, they use it in other, and the helmet cracks me up, right? Like, they've got the entire, for lack of a better word, man, they've got the whole thing going on. Right? They spared no expense. Fourth map. He just said that. Nice catch on that. I didn't pay attention to that. Truth in plain sight, right?
Interesting.
We hit 97, which which is definitely a record. I've never expected that. I thought that is absolutely insane. Thanks everyone that showed up. We put down 2 hours. Angelica, so glad you could make it for some eye candy for all the people.
Oh, definitely.
I think
Definitely.
you
Yes.
got to bring that. You got to bring the heat with that bikini photo. Next time you have that ready, you got to
Yeah,
show them what you look like
I'll-
in fight shape.
Okay.
You got to show them what you look like in fight shape.
But that's what I look like on the inside where it matters. The
It's true.
outside
That's
has
true.
a nice
That's-
protective
Yeah, the
covering.
inside's even
Definitely,
the inside's
definitely,
even
yeah.
hotter, guys. Seriously, the inside's like crazy hot.
But that's an angry, hungry person.
That's right.
Yeah, not a kind person. Mm.
No,
Man.
it's been a good one, guys.
So yeah, cool. Let's as always, we'll be putting it down one way or another next weekend for anyone that's here. I'll figure out the streaming, but if you see a stream and that stream's not active, we'll be active at that time. But I'm gonna do one every weekend, and if people keep supporting it, we're up to 103. If people support it and they want more, we'll start doing 2 a week or something. But I love talking about flat Earth, man. I absolutely love it. I'm addicted to it. I believe in it. It's the truth. And
Definitely.
cool. All right. So until next time, Stuart, Angelica, Silent Hal, and everyone that was able to make it.
Don't
We'll see
forget
everyone next
Brenda.
time.
Don't forget Brenda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, Bobby. You're
Yep.
a good host.
Yeah. Good
Thanks,
job,
everyone.
Bobby, and
All right, peace out.
catch you all later. See you later, Angelica. Bye.
Good night.
Got up to 103. I'm gonna wrap it up. Try to end up a good vote.